Hello again from my front porch, where it is Christmas in September. I know, that's an odd statement. It's supposed to be Christmas in July, but this time it is Christmas in September. And the reason it's Christmas in September is because it is currently September and this came in the mail. The Monkees Christmas Party, the album. Now, some of you may be saying, Paul, you already talked about this, didn't you? Didn't you make a big deal about this? I did last year before Christmas. That's when the CD came out. That's when the album was released and the CD came out. But they didn't have the vinyl at the time. They didn't have that out because there's only so many companies apparently that press vinyl records now, and they were all booked up, and they couldn't get this one created in time to launch with the CD last year. But they wanted to get the Christmas Christmas album out. The Monkees have never done a Christmas album before, so this is new for them, and most of the tracks on this album are in fact brand new tracks written for them by indie music artists and things. A lot of the same talented folks that wrote songs for their previous album, the album Good Times, which Rolling Stone magazine identified as one of the top 50 albums of the year. And so that was pretty cool stuff. That was their 50th anniversary album. Here we are 53 years later, and they're still cranking out the albums. That's good stuff. But now, there are different theories about why they would have pushed to get that album out last year. While I've not seen any official confirmation of the fact, my gut tends to align with the theory that while everybody involved, including the three remaining Monkees, because Davey, of course, passed away several years ago, but that everybody involved, including the three remaining Monkees, were all on board with wanting to do this. They all thought this is a really great idea. Yeah, let's do this. But then, towards the beginning of last year, there were health scares for both Peter and Mike. Now, Peter's was they're both extremely serious. I don't want to downplay either one of them. But Peter's was a recurrence. Peter has had severe health issues before. He's had issues with his salivatory glands and stuff in his throat. I'm not getting into details. Suffice it, he's had some reconstructive surgery, some other things. Point being, he had had all that done, and then he seemed to bounce back. He seemed to recover. These guys are not 20-somethings on the TV show anymore. They're in their 70s, and so it's surgery like that takes a little while. But Peter seemed to have recovered. And he seemed to be doing well. But then all of a sudden, after their last tour that he was on, he seemed to drop out of sight, and then they started talking about they were going to be doing a tour. Maybe Peter wouldn't actually be on the tour. Maybe it would just be Mike and Mickey, and then the other little interesting posts. I don't remember specifically, but they're just interesting Twitter posts that were coming from his account and stuff that he and his team were doing that just made me think Peter's health problems have returned. They have returned. And then he announced he wasn't going to be doing any more touring. He was going to be laying low and working on some other music projects. And I thought, yeah, he's tying up loose ends. That's what he's doing. And it was kind of sad. But then Mike had heart issues. He wound up having open heart surgery. Again, these guys are not young guys anymore, and even though open heart surgery is a fairly common procedure now, especially when you get to that age, there can still be issues that can happen. So I think my theory, I don't have any confirmation whatsoever. My theory is that everybody involved, including Mike and Peter, said if we're going to do this, we got to get on the ball and do this. We can't wait for when they can press albums to get this launched. We're going to have to pick it up and get it out there. And so they whatever it was, they got the thing put together and got it out there. Now, on the album, Peter only has one song and Mike only has two songs. All three of them are Christmas standards, or basic Christmas songs, Christmas carols that you're used to singing. Peter's heavily auto-tuned with his voice, and he plays it with his banjo. And the only reason that stands out to me is, to me, that further illustrates that he was having the mouth issues at the time that they were recording this, and as a result, they had to clean up his audio quite a bit. But he bravely pushes through. Mike He has 2 songs on here, but I'm used to Mike's songs being a little edgy, a little creative, a little I don't know, just, eclectic. and so it's a little different for him to just be doing 2 straight Christmas carol songs. And he also lacks the energy that we've heard previously in his voice as well, even just from 2 years prior. Both he and Peter on this album, I thought their voices sound much more frail. And when I reviewed this last time, when it came out, I had some people that were shocked that I'm a big Monkees fan and I'm putting these guys down. And let me clarify. I wasn't intending to put them down. That's not what I was saying. I was just simply making the observation that you can tell that at the time that their tracks were recorded for this album, they were both not in such a good shape. Now, in Mike's case, I don't know if they were recorded before his open heart surgery, in which case, he would have had trouble breathing and, having the energy, or if they were recorded quickly after that because they wanted to hurry up and get it out because they were worried about Peter's health, perhaps. And, I don't know. I don't know what the whole situation or scenario was, obviously, and I don't need to know. What I do know is this now exists. And it's an excellent album. Now Mickey then carries the lion's share of the vocals on here, but he always did. That was he was the main voice of the Monkees for much of their duration. And there is one Davy Jones song on here too that he recorded back in his younger days after the Monkees broke up. It's the Hawaiian carol. Is it Mili Kaliki Maka? I think that's how you say it. And so all 4 Monkees are. It's still the 4 Monkees. It's not a trio album. It's all 4 of them. Just unfortunately not all 4 of them together. But they are all represented on the album. Now, the album itself is great, but I already did a full review on it, and you'll go back and watch that full review. Just remember, I'm not putting down Mike and Peter. I think they're very, very brave for having fought through the health issues they were having and to lay down the tracks for this. Thank you, gentlemen, so much, especially now that it turns out to be Peter's last contribution to a new album, unless they've got some archive stuff that they can pull out like they did with Davies here, of course. But as far as recording something brand new for a specific album, that's not gonna be happening again. But in addition to this just being a really great album to listen to, and it is an actual album, it opens up like this. This is very retro with the lyrics inside. I thought that was kind of cool too. But it also comes with a poster of the Monkees from their Christmas special on TV. So you got their Christmas, what they look like back on the TV show. And it's appropriate this is in there because the final cut on here, a bonus track, is their Rio Chiu song that was on their TV show. And that's really an awesome song too because it's the 4 of them singing a cappella. Anybody who says, well, those guys really didn't have talent. They couldn't really sing. They can, no, listen to that song. It's the 4 of them harmonizing. It is absolutely beautiful. And I wish they would have done more like that because I think it was amazing. But the pièce de résistance, the real kicker of this particular one is they finally got the vinyls together and they released the straight up black vinyl. They got some Christmas color vinyls, of green, red, whatever. But they announced a special limited pressing of what they call the candy cane print. And that is this red and white one here that looks like that what is that video game ball thing? I just blanked. You all know what it is. You're screaming it at your computer right now on your screen. But it's this candy cane. This one, they limited this to only 1,000 of these made. So you better believe I jumped right on it and got my order in for my special edition version of this. And I had to make sure that I had vinyl because downstairs I have a full collection of every Monkees album ever released, the originals, not re-releases. I have the original albums, all the albums that you know of and some you don't know of. But anyway, so now I get to add that to the collection. And no, I'm not going to be playing that on my record player. I've got the CD and I can do downloads if I need stuff, and it's all fantastic. But there is my Christmas in September. I should have this back up here. My Christmas in September. I'm not going to get crazy and start listening to it quite yet because I really can't stand listening to Christmas music too early in the year, even the Monkees Christmas music. So I'm going to hold off on it, but it's cool that I got it now. All right, well, that's it for my rambling. I'm going to let you go, and I'll see y'all next time from my front porch.